What's up, ADHD crew? Today we're going to ask ourselves the question, is ADHD ever an excuse? I realize this topic is a touchy one, and I hope you all know that I've got good intentions with this video and I'm not here to undermine people with ADHD, including myself. But I am offering food for thought and to open up a debate around this question. A lot of people have ableist attitudes to mental health conditions, and the traditionalism combined with the lack of understanding perpetuates a cycle of short-sightedness, with people often dismissing ADHD as a behavioral and disciplinary issue as a result of poor parenting. However, this is basically stubborn bandwagon thinking and intellectual laziness. The reality is that when a person tries to get things done and repeatedly fails, even though they mean well, this is more than a lack of motivation and poor work ethic. This is an issue caused by various effects of ADHD, like dopamine deficiency, working memory recall issues, and involuntary selective attention. Nowadays, we're seeing more and more research on ADHD, and the amount of comments I get from elderly people about how they were misunderstood in school and they struggled so much throughout their whole lives and their childhood, and that they're only now starting to figure out what was wrong this whole time. It's very telling. Okay, so this is my humble opinion. ADHD is only ever an excuse when we intentionally use the label as a way to absolve ourselves from all responsibility without any intention or willingness to try to help ourselves improve at something. It's only an excuse when we try to blame the ADHD entirely and claim that nothing can be done about our mistakes. While it does provide an explanation for why it may be difficult for us to stay focused, reliable, consistent, and organized, it doesn't mean that we can realistically use it as a get out of jail free card. We can explain to people, hey, my ADHD makes it harder for me to do XYZ. I'll try to implement a strategy so this is less likely to happen next time. Now, this isn't easy to do and stick with, but it is absolutely possible with the right tools, strategies, and support. Now, just a quick disclaimer, I'm not trying to tell you that we should just try harder in that typical degrading way that a lot of people say to people with ADHD. I'm just inviting you to have a think and be mindful of where you tend to trip up, and to be open to incorporating some strategies into your life to help yourself reduce the chances of you failing at whatever it may be. Does it mean it's guaranteed to work? Of course not. Will you make mistakes again? Absolutely. But hopefully less of them. So I'll give you a little example of how I successfully told my boss about my ADHD without it coming off as an excuse. Unfortunately, in recent weeks, I had an informal discussion with my boss about my performance at work because it was a problem. The quality of my work was inconsistent. If you don't know, I'm a professional videographer and I've made lots of repeated mistakes in my work since I started 6 months ago. I told him that a lot of my failure to remember to make checks when filming and editing was down to my ADHD. I literally said, I haven't told you this before, but I have ADHD. It makes it harder for me to remember things and it affects my ability to organize myself. But I don't want to use it as an excuse. I do want to improve my performance because when I fail to achieve what I know I'm capable of, it makes me feel guilty and it lowers my confidence. I apologize that it's come to this. So after that, he thanked me for disclosing it and asked if there was any kind of support that he could offer me. So it went pretty well. I didn't really think that he could help me in terms of support very much because ultimately my failures are purely my issue and could have been prevented by utilizing a strategy much earlier into the job, like checklists and reminders. But I think him being at least aware of my condition will likely help change his perception of me and hopefully make him more eager to support me going forward. Now, I'm quite lucky because I work for the NHS, a national public sector company, and we're quite modern in terms of acceptance and diversity. It's to my benefit that I can safely reveal my neurodiversity as they can't discriminate against people like me. I was always apprehensive about revealing it because it's such a personal thing, but at this stage, I just felt like I had to, like I had no choice. But to bring awareness that I'm not doing things wrong out of laziness, just that I have a tough time getting myself in order because I have ADHD. But I am capable of doing the job well when I'm on top of things. So you can see the difference that I'm acknowledging my ADHD as a factor, but also acknowledging accountability and personal responsibility. But I understand the frustration with feeling bad about yourself and feeling hopeless. So I don't beat myself up too much. I realize that sometimes you have to hit a low spot and make repeated mistakes before you finally get that sense of urgency and get into the habit that you have to change something soon before it's too late. So that's what I'm doing now. I have an awareness of where I tend to trip up in my work, and my girlfriend has kindly worked with me to carve out a preparation schedule and checklist to help me avoid further mistakes. So I hope this video helped. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and please subscribe if you haven't already. And remember, you've got this.